Hi, everyone. It's good to have you with us tonight. We're going to be talking about maintaining positive cash flow for our business. I don't know of any more important topic that we can talk about. It's not really exciting and things like that, like some of the marketing uh, programs are, but nothing could be more intense than the trouble that we get into if we can't keep our cash flow coming in. So our sponsor asked me to put together an intense deep dive into all the little things that might help people improve their cash flow. And last week we got into the fundamentals, and tonight we're going to be talking about practical tips for cash management. So we'll focus on that area of the conversation. We're sponsored tonight by the Small Business Center in Lenoir County, North Carolina, at Kinston, Lenoir Community College, where Lee Albritton is the director, and a great director he is. Maybe he'll join us some tonight. But if you're in that Kinston, Lenoir County area, make sure you give Lee a call and set up an appointment, and he'll do everything he can to help move your business forward. The center has two offices. The main office is located out at the Aerospace Advanced Manufacturing Center off Highway 58 in Kinston. Got a new office out there where you can find Lee, or sometimes he sets up appointments downtown on Queen Street, one of the main streets there, in the Learning Center, where you can meet him there. My name is Steve Carver with a weak voice tonight. I'm sorry, but got some allergies kicking in. But Steve Carver in Dunn, North Carolina, presentation number 1264. So thank you for joining me on my journey. I'm not a lawyer or CPA, but a fellow that's been in business for 68 years and counting. Had a real busy couple of days so far. I'm doing a lot of business. I help the entrepreneurs all that I can, but I also sell farm equipment and farm equipment parts, working for the people that bought my old company. So I'm still dealing with familiar customers all over the country, and it's quite exciting and rewarding to be able to do that. The 57 years I've been doing this, just a little prelude for new folks that hadn't met us before. My dad started our main business in 1959, a long time ago, 68 years ago. He kept it going as long as he possibly could. He worked as hard at it as he could. He passed away in 1981. I was a young man at the time, just around 30 years old, and I kept the business going on for another 27 years. I had a buyer come along in 2008 and bought it. The deal fell through after a year or two, and so I took it back over and for another 17 years, and continued to operate it, but as an online internet business until last year, when a wonderful young couple in Clinton, North Carolina, decided they wanted to buy it. So hopefully we're going to be able to keep it going another 67 or 167 years. So Carver Equipment's alive and well. This is a photograph of my dad and my uncle who actually started the business. We came from a farming family down in Hope Mills, North Carolina. So a picture of my grandmother and my dad and his brothers and sisters. We sold Alice Chalmers tractors. That brand is long gone now, but that was our main brand when we opened up. But through diversification, we stayed on top of the game all through the years, switching brands and changing. Our last main brand was the Kubota tractor brand, and it came along at a perfect time with a really good product line that was ready for the internet sales, and I was too, so we moved forward. We also sold big combines and linear combines, all kinds of forklifts and loaders, diversified into government contracting, doing Army motor pool contract work, fixing up vehicles to go to war and fixing them up after they came back. I did FAA airport different contracts, and also had a large mowing company that mowed grass and cleaned up landscapes in 21 different North Carolina towns. So my experience is pretty extensive. It gives me a position to help you guys with whatever you're doing. Maybe I didn't do exactly what your business is, but I probably know somebody who did. But in February last year, Kyle and Jesse Smith from Clinton bought Carver Equipment Company, so it lives on. This is their pictures, and I'm so happy and pleased with their the way they're treating our customers and doing a great job business-wise, and sales are really quite well right now. Study guides have been emailed to you if you pre-registered. Keep up with your study guides. I suggest you save them in a file because they come in handy for you later on. All the details related to this series of classes is included in them, including the different qualifications that you'll need to win or earn certificates. Excuse the phone ringing in the background. I can't get to that one. Chat questions. I appreciate all the chat that you are doing in the program. I encourage you to continue to do that and share information about your business, ask questions, learn all about the new people that have come on board that maybe you haven't met yet, and do that. And let me just mention Carolyn. Dr. Carolyn, I want you to meet Dr. Mary, who's Mary Young, who's also in your region. Y'all maybe have already met, but I would like for y'all to connect. You have a lot of common denominators, and I think it would be very beneficial for the two of you to get together, especially since you're located in generally in the Durham and Alamance County area. So why don't y'all share email addresses and get to know each other. I think you can probably really help each other with what you got going on. Someone asked in chat last week, is there any charge when you're joining my webinars and seminars or work with us? Everything we do is at no charge. No charge for the study guides, no charge for the certificates that we send to you or the postage. We just want you to be successful and do all that we can to keep you interested. So the answer is no. We have no fees. The Community College Small Business Center system pays me to give these presentations, and I'm glad to do that. Veronica mentioned, and she's on board with us too, mentioned in chat, that it would be a really good idea as you're looking for your different options for profit centers in your business, use AI to do that. It's sitting right there automatic and can give you more information in a split second than you can research for 6 or 8 months. So consider using AI to look for different profit centers that may fit well into your business. And Edna mentioned last week that in financing and cash flowing, if you're selling products or services that maybe your customers would be interested in financing, then maybe to help you close deals if you offer some outsourcing financing to help your customers. I've done that through the years with a lot of different products, and if you have interest in pursuing that, I'll be glad to send you more information. So what that is you would offer to your customers finance plans, and the finance plans that you're offering are actually from finance companies who cater to your type of business and are ready to work with your customers. So that's a great idea and good information. So keep sending the good information in on chat. I don't get to read it while I'm doing the presentation, but I'm really happy to share the information with everyone. Thank you for the great attendance last week. We had a fantastic crowd. Looks like most of you are coming back, and I'll be keeping up with that. If you attend all 3 classes, you automatically qualify for a certificate of achievement. And if you attend all 3 classes and do the homework assignments, then you'll be eligible to advance in the academy or to become a member of the academy. So we'll keep up with your attendance and send the homework to me, and we'll keep up with it. Everybody's doing a great job. You're not required to do anything, but just enjoy. But if you do want to send the information, we're always glad to see you. A special thanks to Sonia Robinson, the roofing business in Charlotte, and Sherry McQuarrie in Charlotte, who's an aspiring author, who's loyal. Justin Murphy has got his brand new cleaning business up and running and expanding and really doing a great job marketing. And thank you so much, Justin, for the fine comments and helpful answers you're giving people in your Facebook presentations. I see you're really active with doing that. Edna's over in Carver are doing a great job helping us along. Hey, Jennifer, I see you've just joined us. Glad to have you on board. And I see you've been just a busy beaver this week. If you are watching Jennifer on Facebook now, she's going to keep you jumping with 2 or 3 presentations a day almost, and everything looks really good, Jennifer. Thank you so much. Veronica, it's good to have you back on board with your video on. Any of you are welcome to turn your videos on. We're glad to see you, and thank you for your work and for your kind words too. Shannon, hang in there. Glad to see you're out and about, getting some work done, and I wish you the very best and appreciate you attending our classes. There's Dr. Mary Young, a writer, active in education, trying to help people. So thank you for your contributions, helping everyone in the academy move forward. So David just keeps on pumping. Now I'm going to tell you, David is as active as it can be. We're proud of you, David, and we want to see it start working good for you. David was developing some new magnetic signs this week. That looks really good. Send me a copy to proof it and talk about it. If y'all have any constructive comments to give to David over in chat, give him a chat. So thank you so much, David. We appreciate what you're doing and hope your business takes off in a big way. Janet, good to see you with us tonight, and thank you for attending from way up there in Maryland. We're always proud to have you on board. I understand you're going to be coming to Weldon when you're ready to do it with your freelance tax consultant business. So Janet gets a great big round of applause because she is the first one to complete every bit of her homework assignments, put it together on a nice spreadsheet. Very intensive work. Thank you so much, Janet. How long did it take you to put this together, Janet? Turn your mic on and talk to us.
It didn't take long at all. I used AI. I put in what I needed, and it generated this for me.
How about that? Well, it's a good looking plan, a good looking presentation, and I really appreciate you for diving in. But mainly, we hope that it serves you well in moving your business forward. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. So everyone's up and running. Thank you all for being members of the Academy. You are the Academy, and we look forward to working for everyone because this is all about you. Share on chat, talk to each other, send me information, questions, ways that we can help each other. You've been really active this week, and I look forward to helping you and working for you. We had a couple of people that were looking for some CPAs, and we were able to share some information with Academy members, and it's good to work with everyone, no doubt. Hey, Kia, good to have you back on board with us tonight. So my job is to motivate and to be assertive, and I will continue to do that. Your job is to find the endurance to stay in the game, because that's what I'm encouraging you to do. Let you know you're not in it by yourself. We're all here to help you and to help each other. So stay in the game. Let's get really good at it. When it comes to cash flow, it's all about being able to have things that people want to reach in their pocket and take your money out of their pocket and give it to you. And the way you make that happen is you have to plan to have products and services that people want. And you have to plan to have products and services that people need. And then you need to keep adding these products and services in such a way that you can have upsells and connect your customers to keep on. That is the fundamental structure that's going to keep your business going on. And if you get away from this structure, that means you're getting further and further away from a good cash flow. One of the handouts and study guides that is sent to you are the 40 drill skills. I suggest that you take the time to read those and rewrite them in your own way that you can use them to help you. Send me a copy of it. These 40 drill skills are all about adding little skills to your tool belt that will help build confidence in what you're doing. And just go a long, long way. Veronica, who's on board with us tonight, took each one of those skills and studied them and then rewrote them and how she would use that skill in her business. Veronica, are you finding that you're using those tips almost every day now?
Yes, almost every day. And It also gave me ideas about other things that I can add, into the business, and not just rely on just the client side of things, but other things that I can offer.
That's right. And that's what it's done for me. I've been teaching this now for maybe 15 years. And every single day, I'll make a decision or have something come along across my desk that reminds me of how it's connected to the drill skills. So let me really encourage y'all to do that. I think Mary did this. Mary did it as well. So spend some time on those sheets. It can help you big time. Positive cash flow. Let's talk about it. Practical tips. What is cash flow? It's the way money moves in and out. It moves in with the sales that you make to your customers and the payments. If you're in loan, if you're in the lending business, the way that people loan money from you. Maybe you're making investments. Money's going to move out too. It don't stay there. So you're buying inventory, materials, paying rent, utilities, payroll taxes, loan payments, and other items can just keep us moving right along. Last week we covered the different type of profit centers, the 3 different type of profit centers, and we said that we need to have at least 5 each in our business. So give some thought to that. What are you doing in your business? Are you doing something specifically to bring in new customers? Are you doing something specifically to generate repeat business and at higher margins? And are you working hard to figure out a way to have upsells or bundled items or high ticket items so you can have some good size deposit, some real money, because you're going to need those larger deposits to come up with a percentage of a profit to help you keep going. The importance of upsells is maybe the most important single factor to improve your cash flow as you're getting started. And upsells is related to the 3 words, what? By the way. Remember that? By the way. So as you're thinking and talking with your customers, you want to be able to say, and by the way, I've also got this, and I've also got that, or we can do this for you in addition to what you're doing to help be a more complete provider of products and services. So think about upsells, because when it comes to cash flow, that is so very important. Last week we talked about the importance of budgeting, planning, having a good idea on how much money you can project in is coming in, but also thinking ahead of the time, forecasting how much money is going to go out. This is fundamental cash flow process, and planning ahead is a major key into seeing how that flow can work. If the cash flow is coming in, that means indeed you've got a chance to move forward, to do things, to do more marketing, to pay off your loans and your debts. But it's not just about the total amount of money. It's just not about the dollar marks. The key to cash flow that we're really trying to emphasize amongst us tonight is it's the timing, making sure you've got it coming in when you need it. And if it's not going to be there, that you're savvy enough to forecast what you're going to do to cover your bases and make those arrangements to do that. Sometimes we get real confused, especially as new business people, in that we think, man, I am doing a great job. My sales are really going strong. I've got a lot of new customers coming in. They're buying stuff. They're placing orders. We got a lot of stuff going on here. But when it comes time to pay your bills at the end of the month, there's not enough money left there to pay the bills, even though you've had a great month sales-wise. So I want to emphasize you have to be ready for that, to know that just because you're selling a lot doesn't mean that your cash flow isn't going out the back door so quickly that you're not going to be able to cover your bills. You have to track it, and tracking is the key to the management side of this. So tonight we're going to talk about some different aspects. the importance of separating your personal and your business money. Again, creating a good business budget, having a tracking system that fits you, understanding what accounts receivable and accounts payable are, knowing that that's something that you have to have on your mind, because the accounts receivable is where you forecast how much money you may have coming in the future, while the accounts payable is an awareness of how much money you got to be prepared to send out to keep your credit reputation good. A lot of what we have to do is to manage, how can I get paid faster? How can I get my customers to pay me quicker so that I'm not going to be behind on the cash flow? And sometimes that may be the most difficult part of a new business getting started, because some customers will leverage you because they know you're new. They know that maybe you don't have the power to force them to pay like they should, and will just kind of string you out. And then there are individuals and there are companies that thrive on using your money as long as they possibly can, so that they don't have to borrow money and pay interest. They're making you do it. And you have to wise up in a hurry to not let people take advantage of you. I've been strung out by some people who were 10 times or 100 times larger than I am, business-wise, or had many times the assets that I have. But you don't do business with them very long before you realize that just how they accumulated that money. They did it on the backs of smaller, new entrepreneurs taking advantage of them. And folks do that. Some companies will even carry it to the point that they run their whole business career on taking advantage of people, getting a lot of people to give them stuff and then declare bankruptcy so they don't have to pay their bills and figure out how to wiggle around it. So be aware that that's going on and don't get caught in that trap. So also you want to manage, of course, your money coming in and going out, to figure out how to reduce expenses as much as you can. So let's talk about it a little bit more. So separating personal and business finances is a key. And sometimes it's hard to do. I deal with that in my businesses. I'm always having to rob Peter to pay Paul, so to speak, and which means I'm taking money out of personal accounts and putting it into business and vice versa. And it's okay to do that, but the key is to keep it separate on paper so that you can always be accountable, and the company can pay you back with interest when you're loaning the company your assets. And then it becomes a good thing, and you learn how to manage it. I've been working at this now for better than 40 years. Actually, I always have set up an open-ended loan from me personally to my company. And there are times when maybe if I can build up some reserve in my personal accounts, I'll just actually loan that money to my company and let the company just take on the loan, not because they particularly needed it, but because I want the company to pay me interest. So the company can pay me more interest than the nothing that you're getting from the bank now. So you learn how to use your assets to make money internally sometimes if you can. So what's the first step? The first step is to get you some business bank accounts. Get set up with your checking account, a business checking account, a business money market account where you can actually make a little bit of interest on your reserve money that's coming in. And once you have that money market account, you don't keep any big bucks in your checking account any more than you have to. You put any reserves over and let it be earning interest while you're going. So once you do that, then when you loan money to your company from your personal account, you actually write a check to the business account, you keep up with it, and then you got a record for how much money the company owes you, and therefore how much interest it's going to owe you as well. So why do we want to do this? First of all, it clears up your records. When you go to give your records to your bookkeeper or to your accountant, they don't really pay attention to that. And if your business records and your business money is separated, and they don't have to get into figuring out how much of this is personal interest and how much of it's business. It makes everything go smoother, and you can come forward with a good-looking business financial statement. So I see that several of you now have been in business. You got your business up and running. And how does your financial statement look right now? Have you completed your first financial statement? And how's it coming along? Is your financial statement so intertwined with your personal finances that it's hard to tell really what's going on? If it is, that's why we're talking about it right now. If it stands alone as a business in a professional image, then your potential customers, your banks, your suppliers, your vendors are going to be a lot more impressed with it, seeing a business financial statement that is not intertwined with the customer issues. It's perfectly all right and even good for your business financial statement to show that the company owes the individual money, the company owes you money, and therefore you're keeping up with it. A lender, someone that's been in business a long time, will appreciate that because they notice you've got skin in the game. You're willing to invest in your own business, and it's just fine for that to show up on that financial statement. A lot of people have qualms about that, saying, well, I don't want my business financial statement to show the business owes me any money. You know, that's just another debt that the company owes. Well, that's the kind of good debt that lenders like to see, because it's a testimonial that you, as the owner of your company, have invested in this, and you're just not asking everybody to use someone else's money for your business. So when you have this separated, even if it's liquid, even if it's flowing back and forth, and you're constantly trading bucks back and forth, as long as you're keeping up with it and being accountable, it gives everyone a better understanding of where your business is going. So separate your money, keep up with it separately. Now let's talk about that budget. We kind of got into it last week, but now let's dig a little bit deeper. Your business budget is the essence of your business plan, because your monthly budget, and I want to encourage you to do that, is where you're talking about how much money you expect to get in, how much you expect your expenses to be for all the different reasons. You would list down the variable expenses that rise and fall each month, and you would keep up with how much taxes and payroll that's coming in and going out. You would use your budget to plan how much spending you can do down the road, and you use your budget to avoid surprises. And really important for the growth of your company is if you've got a budget that's actually working and is fundamentally sound, then you can start planning on the investments you're going to make in the future. If you don't have a good budget, then you can't make a sound plan that's based on good reasoning and good expectations. You want to do that. So Janet did a really good job with working with her budget, getting it started. And you can use the guides that I gave you last week to help you move forward with that. It's not hard, and do like Janet did. Let AI help you give it enough information to go forward. Now, what do I mean by tracking system? What is a tracking system? Well, basically, a tracking system may be just a budget that we just talked about, or it may be an accounting system like Wave or QuickBooks or some others. It may be an Excel sheet like Janet used. There's a lot of different ways you can set up a tracking system. But what I am really asking you to do is have some kind of system that works for you. And doing that, if you come up with a budget and then month after month you're watching that budget and making adjustments in it, that is a tracking system. That is a business plan. But the key is It's not just a piece of paper that you save the file and put it away in your computer. What I'm encouraging you to do is to have a budget, have a business plan that you're actually looking at and working with as your business goes forward. And it's a business tool, not one that's over in the tool chest that you never use, but one that you're using every day and keeping up with. This is helping you be aware of how the cash flow is moving in and out. And once you get that awareness and a little bit of experience, you'll be able to start making the adjustments that help you out so much. It's just amazing that with a 6 months or a year's experience and working with a budget actively gives you so much power to make better decisions. Not using this business tool, but just taking things as they come. I like to use the term just floating down the river. If it comes, fine. If it don't, okay. You may get by, but you're not going to make the progress that you want to become the professional person, business person that you really want to be. Your business is going to have to grow to start being meaningful to you and your community, and to start generating enough income that you can grow it and see it grow to the point to reach the goals that you wanted to do. So it's important to plan right now. Yes, I'm going to be in business, but yes, I want this business to grow to a point that I'm comfortable with it and that I can make a meaningful difference in my own life and in my family's life and get things done. And if we don't have positive cash flow, it ain't ever going to happen. It just ain't ever going to happen. So we got to take it really serious. So let's dig a little bit deeper and talk about this cash flow and profit, because I don't want what I'm saying to in any way indicate to you that I don't want you to make profit because it's going to hurt your cash flow. Don't get that impression. But I do want you to be aware of having good cash flow is one thing and making profit is another thing altogether, and both of them are important. So let's just say as an example here that you made $1,000 sale today on 30-day terms. Yeah, man, way to go. You made $1,000 sale. But today also you had to invest $600 to buy some inventory for your business. So on paper, you did a $400 profit day. But in reality, you're out $600 today and you're not going to get that $1,000 for another month. So that's a problem with cash flow. And that's a perfect example of what I've been talking about. When I was selling tractors and Skytrax and forklifts and things like that, sometimes I might have a really great sales week and sell $100,000 worth of big heavy iron, big bucks, and say that I sold it. But the rest of the story is, on paper, I made the sale, but I don't have the money in the bank yet. You know, the checks hadn't come in, whatever the arrangements were. But still, I had to order that equipment and start paying freight and maybe down payments and deposits. And to make that $100,000 sale, I might have to invest $30,000 and then wait for the money to come in. And my friends, I want to tell you, that gets really, really tough sometimes. In those kind of numbers, it means you have to have credit lines to back you up to make it work. But it can happen, and you want it to happen, and you want to be prepared to move forward with it to make that work. AR, accounts receivable. We're talking bookkeeping now. We're talking accounting, but we're also talking the lifeblood of your cash flow. So what does accounts receivable mean? That means when you're doing business with folks and you make deals and people owe you money, those are people that are your accounts receivable. It's not money in the bank, but indeed it's an asset, even though you can't spend it because it's on paper and it's important. So you want to keep up with the deals that you're doing and log them in. See that tracking system we're talking about? Just because you do a deal today and you know it's coming in sometime in the next week or two, but the paperwork is signed, it's quote legal, then put it into your tracking system. You have to do that, take the time to do it. And that's the difference in being motivated to professionally log in your accounts receivable so you can track it. From the other hand, if you're slow in your collections, that's going to really put a bind in your accounts receivable to make that work. If it's not on paper, it's probably not legal. If you haven't written it down, it's not going to work for you. So I don't take it to the next step. We're going to dive one step deeper here. I, even in my business, had my accounts receivable, the deals that I had closed, but we kept another spreadsheet on the deals that were pending. How much the deal that's around the corner that maybe I can close this deal with a little luck. Maybe I can make another concession to make this work. So here's the long-term experience thing I want to share with you. You want to keep up with all your quotes. You want to log them down, people you've been talking to. You want to do that because 6 weeks from now, an opportunity may come along that gives you enough cash flow or some other options or some way that gives you a bargaining point that you can go back to that old quote and say, look here, friend, call them up and say, look here, I've got a new wrinkle here. Let's revisit here. Let's close this deal out and I can do this for you. You'll be absolutely amazed by keeping good records on what the quotes are you have out there instead of just sending a quote out, and if they want to buy something, they get back in touch with me. I'm not going to keep up with it. I'm not going to stay in touch with them. I'm not going to bother them. That is a bad mistake, big time cash flow. I would go as far as to say that the people in business that do the best job with cash flowing are those people that not only keep up with their accounts receivable, but they also keep up with their possible accounts receivable, active quotes, good ways. And in those notes on that spreadsheet, not only are you got your figures written down there, but you've got an idea of when you quoted this, how much cash is that going to bring into your business? How's that going to affect your cash flow? So the scenario may come along that maybe you're in a bad cash flow bind. And I've found myself there before. And the option was, or is, okay, I got to raise some cash, so I'm going to go to the bank and borrow some money, or I'm going to use my credit line. Either one of these is going to start costing me money and put me in a tighter situation down the road because that money has to be paid back, right? Yeah, I might go borrow myself out of a jam today, but that's not a long-term fix because that money has to be paid back. So what is one of the options that I hadn't talked with y'all about before? One of the options is to look at your quote file. Look at the active possibilities that you got that if you would shave a little profit off this quote that you've got out there, you could probably close it and generate enough cash flow with one or two deals to save you from having to go borrow money to get this new deal. Using your old quotes to close deals is a powerful tool. Used oftentimes by professionals because they realize that maybe I can go on back here and shave a little bit off my profit that I quoted, close the deal, and get this customer in my fold. Yeah, you're giving up some of that planned profit that I've talked about all this time, but you're doing it for a darn good reason. You're doing it, number one, to help you get this new deal you're working towards, to help you bring this customer in, and therefore, that quote that you were quoting may have been a profit center number 3, or it might have been a profit center number 2 when you quoted it for that reason. But there's no reason that you can't go back to it and say, I need a new customer. I'm going to cut this margin, bring them on in and close that deal, even if I'm not going to make much money on it. I don't bring in enough cash to help me move forward with several other deals. It's like playing chess, and be savvy enough to make that work for you. Accounts receivable are assets. Possible accounts receivable are assets that if you use them and you can log them, that you can go back to and use them like money in the bank. AP now, accounts payable. What exactly would that mean, wonder? It's basic. Accounts payable is the money that you owe to other people. And we have to track that as well. You know it's going to happen. You know it's coming down the road in 30 or 45 days. Then put that information into your tracking system. Be prepared. It is a great motivator to help you get out and sell more stuff. If you know these bills are coming due on you and you're looking at it in your tracking system, it really helps motivate you to do more sales. So we keep up with the different vendors that we're doing business with. And we're doing all we can to avoid late fees. And we plan our payments to go along with our cash flow. My bookkeeper, Laura, and I worked together for 45 years, and every day she would prepare for me on my desk every new day the bills that were coming due that I needed to pay within 10 days usually. And she would list them all down. And then so that I always knew how much money I needed to generate to make things happen. And on those bills, some days I would pick out one at the top of the list or pick out some at the bottom of the list. But we wrote checks every day, and I paid the bills that I could stretch out to as long as I had to, and not create any, number one, any penalties or any interest. But the main thing I did, I paid those bills to keep that vendor happy. I didn't pay him early unless there was a reason I wanted to build some more confidence with them to make them a little bit more happier about doing business with me. And this is the selfish part. This is the professionalism part, that sometimes you might want to pay a bill real early, even though you can pay it 10 days early as soon as you get it. For the simple reason is you're building a reputation or rapport with this particular vendor. And by law, you're investing to do that, so that when you go back to them and ask them for a deal, they are more likely to give you a better discount or better terms on what it is. So use your accounts payable as a negotiating wise chip, building your confidence in negotiating, because when you go back to this vendor, because you want to keep doing business with the same people if you can, that you've got the way to say, now look here, I'm in a competitive situation. If you give me a good deal, I can get my deal and we'll both be better off, but you're going to have to give me a little slack. And I'm going to pay you, I'm going to pay you as fast as anyone else. And that gives you that leverage to do business. This is old school how to make it happen. If you've been behind with a vendor, you're paying them at the last moment, or they kind of nervous about doing business with you because you're new and sometimes you're late with your payments, they're not going to be in a position to help move you forward. Your business is going to move forward by having people behind you that's giving you the edge that helps you make the better deals. So you need to think about that in accounts payable. How you're paying your bills goes a long, long way to making that happen. So the tracking system, whatever system you use, as simple as I just mentioned, or complicated on a spreadsheet, you need a system and you need to keep up with what's happening there. So how are we going to get paid faster? Okay, we're doing business, but people are slow about sending us money. The number one thing that I see most young entrepreneurs not do is to send an invoice out as soon as the work is over, or to bring the invoice with you when you're closing out the deal or finishing out the job. This afternoon, I had a contractor that helps me a lot around the house here. We had people over here doing some cleaning up and pressure washing around the house. And he came in at 5 o'clock to pick up his crew and inspect everything. And he walked right in. The first thing he did, he walked right up to me and handed me the bill. You know, he knew what it was going to be, handed me the bill. And I know that he expects payment. And I told him, I said, Victor, I'll write you a check tomorrow, but right now I'm walking in here to go online, so you just have to live with me here. And he said, that's okay, Steve. But while I was saying that, I went ahead and handed him a check that was due the first of the month for some work he did for me last month. So he knows that I'm going to pay him, and therefore I'm able to use some leverage. So don't be afraid to say to someone, you owe me this now, and to go for it. So I see people on board with us tonight that are in position sometimes to be leveraged. Jennifer, I'll think about you. Folks in the planning business and that you're in, wedding planning or event planning or setting up or getting people renting stuff from you that you have to rent or buy early to have it ready for them. These people need to pay you. You don't need to be afraid at all to ask for a significant down payment or an advance payment. Papa Steve here is saying to you, get advance payments. It's okay. If people squirm or whatever it is, maybe they didn't plan to pay you to begin with, but it's okay for you to ask for a payment in advance. People that are doing contracting work and things like that, like David and Shannon, someone wants you to put in an expensive generator, you got to go to a supplier and buy that thing. You got to buy a $5,500 generator to sell it for $6,000. Well, I suggest that some way we figure out how to buy it with their money and just be frank and honest about it. We are not bankers, my friend, and don't pretend to be. In 1959, when my dad and I started in business for a good 20, 25 years, we had to finance people because farmers, that's just the way it was. If you did business in the ag community, you financed everything you did until the fall when the harvest was done and people got paid for their tobacco or their corn. Well, that's a different world now because vendors cannot afford to do that. We had to make good margins because we had to pay interest on that money that we were lending to the farmers. Now, pay attention to me. You are not a banker. People got credit cards. People got credit lines. And if they don't, maybe you can't afford to do business with them. You hear that? If someone's not in a position to pay you like you need to be paid, you may love them, you may like them, you may need their business, but if they can't pay you properly, you cannot afford to do business with those people. So you kiss them behind the ear and say, God bless you, I want to be your friend, but maybe I can't do business with you. Because if you do enough of that and you get overloaded, then you're going to be out of business. I've seen it happen so many times. Good, kind people trying to help other people and that are not getting paid, it's not a good deal. So find different ways to collect your money. Credit cards, take cash, do all these different things, ways that people can pay you. BIMCO, ACH banking, a lot of different ways to take money in. Investigate that, and it makes a difference for you. So if you have finance terms and there's a due date with a customer, don't assume that the customer is going to remember what the due date is. Don't assume that your customer has a tracking system like we're talking about doing, because a lot of people just do not. And this customer may not be planning on paying you until they get a notice from you that it's due. Just like we don't pay our power bill in advance, do you? You don't pay your water bill in advance. You wait for that bill to come in. Well, your customers have that same attitude. So what do we do to speed things up? It's just as simple as it can be. Send the bill early. Send the bill early. And if you want to and you have room and you plan to do this, which I hope you did, send the bill early enough you can say, you pay this within 10 days, you can take a 1% discount. But all that has to be part of your deal. Offering an early payment discount really motivates people to pay you early. I'm not suggesting to you give up 1%. I'm suggesting to you that when you planned your pricing strategy, you built that in so that you could offer that 1% and still hold on to the profit that you needed to make. That is huge, especially in the government contracting, a lot of situations now. If you're doing an excellent job bringing your payments in early from your accounts receivable, what does that mean? What's happening for you? It means that your cash flow is going to be a lot better than otherwise, and that's why it's worth the effort to do it. So let's talk about managing and reducing expenses. A rule of thumb, and this has been around a long time, and pretty much everybody's taught these classes. We need to ask 3 questions on a regular basis. Do I need this expense really? Can I pay less for it? Can I do some negotiating and get it for less? And the answer to that is almost always yes. Don't be afraid to negotiate. Don't be afraid to say, can't you give me a little bit better price on this? And can I use this money more efficiently than what I'm doing with it now? That's just a rule of thumb every day in your tool belt. Cancel subscriptions that you're not using. Negotiate better, as we've talked about many times. Look for better deals, insurance, phone, internet work, and cut the nice-to-have items until the cash is strong enough to support them. Don't buy the brand new truck or car when a good used one might get the job done and keep your cash flow working instead of making a high monthly payment. That's just kind of common sense, isn't it? A cushion. I'm sitting on a cushion now because my old bony butt hurts if I don't have a cushion under it. I want to tell you, your old bony cash flow butt will hurt too if you don't have a little cushion back there. And what does that mean? What is a cushion? Well, it's some extra cash in the bank that you've set aside for a rainy day or an emergency, or it might be a credit line. But have a plan B. Don't feel like your back's against a wall if you can help it. And in today's world, a lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck. I know that, month to month. And some are fortunate enough to have a retirement plan. Most are not at the young age of entrepreneurs. So we have to figure out a way not to feel like there's a gun at our forehead, a cash flow gun, and worried about, can I make it to the next payday? Can I make the next payroll for my employees? And it's a must. It's a must for your health that we figure out a way to track this so that you're not under that constant stress. After my dad passed away, I was 30, fairly unexperienced in business. That caused me a lot of problems. I didn't understand this cash management stuff. He had a good handle on it, but I hadn't dealt with it. I was out selling. I was having the fun. I was doing the sales and say, look what I've done. Look what I've done. While he was back sweating the cash flow because I was really selling a lot of stuff. So you got to manage this. You got to know it. You got to have that cushion there. Each month, think of it as a small engine. This savings account is a small engine that's going to carry you to security and safety net that you can relax and go to sleep at night. And so whether it's $100 a week or $100 a month, commit to yourself that I'm going to start building a cushion. One way or the other, I don't have this cushion. And you're going to keep it there. And when the chips get down and you got to have some money, that cushion is going to be the very last thing that you do, because here's what I've already told you. Instead of using up your cushion, let's indeed sell some more stuff. Let's go back to those accounts receivable that you've got some quotes out there, make a little bit better deal and close the deal. that will increase your sales number and help your cash flow move forward and keep you from having to pay more debt. So don't try to borrow your way out of a jam. Don't panic, plan. So let's look over stuff. Cleaning up. Before, your personal and business money was mixed up. You're not doing your accounts receivable tracking, and you're always getting surprised with bills that come in. This is not where we want to be. But after you separate your accounts and you set up your accounts receivable and your accounts payable spreadsheets, and you get on top of your invoicing, and then you got a clear view of how your cash is coming in and out. And what would that do for you? It'll have fewer surprises and a lot more control. I found this was such a big deal with me, and I was trying to do it all myself, that if I was really out here working, calling on customers all the time, using my time to make money and to make sales for my company, I just didn't have enough time to sit here and micromanage my accounts receivable and accounts payable. And that means there's a time that you need to delegate. And delegate means spending a little money so that you'll have more time and more effort to make money. And that's a hard thing for 1 to 2 horse operations to do, is to find the money to hire somebody to help you. So what do we do in this conundrum, right? You might want to look at a virtual assistant. You might want to find someone that you trust. You might have trained someone to help you with it. I know one of us on board with us tonight has a daughter that's very interested in helping in the business. Seems to be very capable. Maybe I need to train a family member or a good friend that is not going to cost me an arm and a leg, or maybe it's already on board that needs more responsibility. Maybe I need to train someone to help me with this. Your potential as a great business person is going to have everything to do with the people that are backing you up. I didn't ever claim to be the sharpest pencil in the trimmer. But I want to tell you that old Steve-O sold the heck out of equipment for 50 years in eastern North Carolina out of a little small operation in Dunn, North Carolina. And we actually were the big kahuna in many, many areas and still hold on to that reputation. And our legacy is so strong that the people that bought my business are making good money on that legacy right now. I didn't do that by myself. I was able to find 7 good managers, 7 people who believed in our plan. They ran the service department, they ran the parts department, they ran the rental department, they ran the pickup and delivery, and 2 people in the offices. My support staff gave me the time to get out and make the sales. And then at some point in time, I was able to hire 2 salespeople. I trained them well, and old Steve-O fished on Friday afternoons at Emerald Isle for 25 years. But I didn't do it on what I knew. I did it on what my managers helped me do. So how can I encourage you to grow your business? Is find the light, find the way to bring people in that can help you make money while they're making money for you. Hire the best and let the rest go work for someone else. If you've got someone that's working for you that is not pulling their load or helping your company move forward, set them free. Let them go work for one of your competitors and drag them down. Don't be afraid to make that move. And I'm not saying that, hey, this is just business. It's not personal. Well, it is personal when you're trying to save your own company for your family. That's personal. And sometimes you have to make hard business decisions to do that. And cash flow issues in small companies sometimes focus on, I've got some kin folks working for me. I got some friends working for me. I got some people that I love that are working for me, but they are sucking up my cash, and I'd be better off to let them go work for someone else. Okay, that's hard decisions to make, but when it comes to keeping your cash flow working, I've got to tell you that. So what are the tools and resources we're going to use? Spreadsheets, accounting software, local support, virtual assistants. You don't have to do it all, my friend. You don't have to do it all. Let's find other ways to do it. And this is not a lame comment here. The people at the Small Business Center are great listeners. They can listen to what you're saying. They may not have the magic bullet or the magic answer, but with their experience, the conversation can lead you possibly to finding some really good solutions to really bad problems. I think you know that I'm working really hard to share with you the things that you have to read between the lines, give you that real information that maybe you can put to work in your business. And the Small Business Center folks they're pretty good at that as well. So what are we going to take away from tonight's class? Number one, let's separate our personal and our business finances. Okay? Let's have a simple budget plan on spending and income. Do you have a budget on paper? Are you using it? Track your AR and AP so you know what's coming in and what's going out. And I've added a little wrinkle tonight, which isn't in the plan, just conversation added it. Track your quotations, track your possible sales that are in front of you with the possibilities of folks where you can go and close a deal in a hurry just by making some adjustments in the last quote you left. Keep that in mind. It could be a real good asset for you. Also got to keep in mind right here, something I've left out that I need to include, is go to your raving fan customers database. If you're in a cash flow bind, go to your raving fan customers and study them and talk to them about what can I sell you today at a really good deal to help generate some business. These people maybe would just as soon buy from you now in June instead of waiting until August if you sweeten the pot for them. Let that be a part of your mental process. Figure out ways to get paid faster. As a matter of fact, you just need to make a fundamental rule of your own mind. Going forward tomorrow, I'm going to get paid as fast as humanly possible when I close the deal. I'm going to get my money. I might even shave my profit margin a little bit to make sure I've got my money in hand, because I don't get to use that money 2 or 3 weeks, and that's worth capital. That's worth capital. And I am definitely going to start building a cushion, a cash cushion, or a credit cushion as soon as possible, so that I can get underneath the stress test of feeling like my back's against the wall. Little systems build great big stability for your company. You ready for the quiz? All right, ready for the quiz coming up. I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give you the question. I don't want you to look at the answers first, but it's okay if you do, because all my quizzes are open books. But tonight we need to remember some things. Which of the following is considered the best practice for separating your business and personal finance? Okay, opening a dedicated business account. So over on the yes and no on the chat boards, okay, let's get over here and type a little bit. Either yes or no. Do you have a dedicated business checking account and money market account? Yes or no? If you don't, it's time to start thinking about what you need to do. And Sherry, you're number one on the list. I want you at the bank in the morning getting your account squared away, okay? Number two, what is the direct benefit of keeping personal and business finances separate? What are you going to gain by doing this? Is C, Everything's going to be more clear. Your records are going to be better. It's going to be a lot easier for you to do your tax work. Keep it up, okay? That's why you want to do this. Number 3, which of the following is categorized as fixed expense as a basic business budget? A fixed expense. We got different expenses, right? We got variables and we got fixed. Well, rent is a fixed expense. So when you're planning, when you're looking at your budget planner, your tracking system, you know what that rent's going to be. It's got to be paid. You got to put it in there. And so you want to cover all these fixed expenses first. What can a business budget help an owner do? Well, we've talked about it, so let's just say it again because it'll drive it home. Plan your spending in advance. If you're planning your spending in advance, you can avoid surprises. If you're planning your spending in advance, some days you'll be able to write a little extra check to lower some debt, but you're not going to give up your cushion. It's okay to pay a little extra to lower your interest debt, but I don't want you to give up your cushion. It's better off to pay interest than it is to give up your cushion. According to the text that we talked about tonight, what are the tracking system options listed from the simplest to the most advanced? So if you're looking for the simplest through the most advanced, how would they line up? A plain sheet of paper, a spreadsheet, actual accounting software, or hiring a bookkeeper. In other words, you don't have to go out and hire a bookkeeper to get started on this. What you have, if you're not ready to do that, get your pad out and use the tips that we've given you, examples, and get started on it. When deciding on the financial tracking system, what factors should you base your choice on? What factors should you choose? The size and complexity of your business. If you've got a simple business, you don't need a complex tracking system. The comfort level that you're at with the numbers and how they work. So, in other words, find a tracking system that you feel really good about, that you can manage and use, that you can get started with. But get started with it, okay? Have your budget and your tracking system going on. We talked about this earlier today. Remember that $1,000 sale you made, but you're not going to get paid for 30 days, but you had to spend $600 today. What is the immediate impact on your cash flow with this deal? You're out $600. You're going to be in a jam for a few weeks. This simple example, let's drive this home. In the future, when you're closing a deal, and so excited about I'm making a big deal, and I want you to have that excitement and that joy, because it's what lights a fire under us to keep on going on. But we're going to be professional and wise enough to say, okay, I'm writing this deal right now, but in your mind, you've got a tracking system. You've got something telling you, this is fun and I'm going to celebrate, but how much money can I spend celebrating until I figure out how this is going to affect my cash flow? Because that celebration money is coming from somewhere else, right? So we don't celebrate till you actually get the money back in the bank. Think about every deal that you write, there's two sides to it. Number 8, why is it critical to track the timing of your transitions? Because that's what we're saying about. It's all about timing. How fast is the money going to come back in? Is this deal that you're excited about on paper, or is it a deposit in the bank? And it's that deposit in the bank when we can really celebrate. What are accounts receivable? Money that people owe you. Okay? Money that people owe you. What are accounts payable? That's the money you owe to other people, but you want to make sure that you stay on top of it and track it so you're not surprised with late fees or hurting your relationship, your credit reputation with your vendors. That's the most expensive mistake that we make. People say, well, the late fees aren't much. I don't mind paying a few dollars more because of the late fees. I can handle that. I'd rather pay the late fees than go borrow the money early. Late fees are not as much as my interest would be. But the damage is deeper than that. If you're holding up a provider, a vendor that you're going to depend on for future good business, and you're not squaring up with them paying those bills on time or even a little bit early, you're not going to be in a position to get the best deal. They're not going to give you the best discounts. You know who they're going to give them to? Your competitors. And with startup businesses, startup entrepreneurs, this may be as big a factor as there is. I see Sonia's with us tonight. She's in the roofing business. And Sonia has to go buy materials from vendors, I'm sure. And when she goes to that vendor, if she's got an excellent credit reputation and rapport relationship with that vendor, she's going to buy stuff 15 to 30%, well, maybe not 30%, but 10 to 15% less money than other contractors who maybe are dragging out the payments. The people that pay their bills fastest and best get the best deals. And the people that get the best deals when they're buying under fair market value, remember, then they're going to be able to sell for above fair market value and end up with more margins. So paying your bills on time help your cash flow on the other side, because in the long term, you don't make more money because you paid your bills on time. So this week, we got some new homework to think about. Confirm that you do have separate accounts, separate business accounts. Do that draft monthly budget that we talked about before, and I've given you examples of it. Create a AR and AP list. Pick out the tracking system you're going to use and get something started. And send me a note or an email like Janet did to show me that this is real, that you're really doing it. Pat yourself on the back. All of you pat yourselves on the back for getting serious about this, because it is elementary and it is fundamental. But cash flow is so serious that we don't practice. The people that play in the World Series or in the Super Bowl or in the Stanley Cup, let me tell you, they practice the fundamentals every day. And that's what we need to do. And cash flow is one of those fundamentals. So bringing it on home now. Next week, a little fun. We're going to talk forecasting and about emergencies, building a cash flow forecast. What are we going to do if we run out of cash? Can we grow if we're out of money? No. Can we do those things that we talked about? No. Can you grow without having some help, without doing some delegations? Probably not. But you can't have help and delegation without having the cash to pay people. So that's why this is also important to get it sorted out in such a way. And we definitely don't have a way to have an emergency cash plan. So over in the chat, how about telling me the truth will set you free? Do you have an emergency cushion, cash cushion now? Either yes or no. And I want to tell you, of my 68 years in business, probably 50 of them, my answer would always be no. If I got in a bind, I had to go use a credit line or something like that. If you're able to say yes, pat yourself on the back and count your blessings. And now, are you ready to invest? Is your cash cushion to the point it can keep growing, or is your cash cushion got big enough and large enough that maybe you can use that to invest in helping your business grow? There's a time when it's big enough, and you should look at just not letting the money lay there and not helping your business go forward. Okay? Let's work together. We're building a business, but that's not all that's happening. Opportunities are being created, problems are being solved. We're together working towards our future. I want you to believe in yourself and your potential. You can make a difference. You will make a difference. Let your passion be your guide and the determination be your fuel. My friends, every one of you, there's a greatness in you. Smile. Clap your hands. There's a greatness in all of us that can move forward. And sometimes we can get down. Things happen every day that makes us sad and concerned. But indeed, the helping hand we need is right here at the end of our own arm. And one way to do it is, well, there's several ways to do it. What works for me is for me to remind myself my helping hands are right here on my arms. Quit sitting on them and put them to work. Be still and know that you can't do all this by yourself, that God and Jesus in my life helped me get on through tough times to a better day. Know that we have to charge our batteries because we're just human beings. And we need to set aside time to look after ourselves and our self-help. Because listen to me, Sonia and Jennifer, if we lose our health, we may lose our business. So stay on top of that. Make yourself aware of it to keep on keeping on. And we got some doctors on board tonight, medical doctors and education doctors and divinity doctors. We got a great group here. And the key is, the great thing about this academy of ours is I don't care if you're a PhD or a GED, you're just as important. There is no rank among us. We're all important for mutual healthness. So God bless you. I hope you have a great cash flow week, a great cash flow week. And those of you that were here last week and this week, if you show up next week, we'll get Sarita to print us out a really beautiful certificate, and I'll send it right to you, no doubt. How about some comments from Walton's Mountain? What do y'all know?
Hey, Steve. Well, I'm excited about the class series, and once I get my business registered, then I can open up that account and start doing my homework from class.
So what was that procrastination excuse you had?
Well, my business, I haven't registered my business yet. I can't open a business account if I haven't registered the business, right?
Well, do you know what?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, that's why we have these classes, my dear. It's time for you to think about what the name of your business is going to be and get on with the plan. Motivate.
Yeah, I just have to register it. Yes, sir, Steve. Remember, I told you that's my game plan by the end of the summer. So, yes, sir. I just want to give you that heads up, though. You'll be seeing some homework once I register it, and I'll be giving you some updates.
I can't wait. I love you, and I appreciate you. That's what it takes, being determined. Thank you so much. Who's got a good comment? Jennifer, let me ask you if you're on board and can get to your mic. I've been noticing some really great photographs of meeting rooms or event rooms that have been set up. Are these items that before and after pictures, or are these just things that you're planning? She may be back in the kitchen cooking. Jennifer, are you with us? Well, at any rate, she's been putting some great photos up on Facebook, and I wanted to get a little bit more information about that. All right, any other information? It's been a pleasure working with you tonight. I love you all. There's a greatness in you. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Good night, John Boy.
Thank you, Steve.